Hi everyone and welcome back to our Python tutorials, and this week we are beginning with the fourth tutorial hosted by Morex the Coder. I do hope you guys have been enjoying the previous tutorials, and just one thing to mention before we start is that we're gonna have a bit of a change in terms of the tool we use. Previously, we've been using the online tool named JDoodle. From now on, I am going to change the tool. You might continue using the same tool. I mean, it doesn't change the syntax of the language because we've been learning the language. We are learning Python, we're not learning the tools. We're learning Python. So you might want to also install your favorite IDE, maybe VS Code or maybe PyCharms for some. If you're using Anaconda, well, I think it is that IDE, Spider, I believe. So you can choose whatever tool you want to use. If you are that new to Python, you might just want to install Anaconda because it has everything. The Jupyter one, we're not gonna do that. I don't think so now. So yeah, it depends on you. Just make sure that you have the proper tool and you have everything you need, because the most important requirement is that you have Python 3 installed in your system. For me, I'm just gonna stick with my favorite editor, which is Vim. I love Vim. I don't know why I got this addicted, because if I remember from my days at Within Code, I never really used Vim during the bootcamp. So some of the people did use Vim, but now they are not anywhere near Vim. They hate Vim. I don't know how, because they started using Vim in the bootcamp, which was weird as to why would you want to do that as a beginner. But then hey, curiosity makes us do things. So I'm guessing they got curious and they wanted to learn something new. But yeah, I only knew Vim after I've enrolled into the Within Code program. I meant not problem. So yeah, and I know I promised that I'll do the experience sharing. I will do that. I will plan a day and have it all set up and do it, and also feature some of my peers. So that is still coming. Soon you'll be hearing from me as I've managed to successfully balance all that. But yeah, enough of that. Let's get to the tutorial, right? So in this tutorial, we're going to talk about something we've been talking about, string. So previously, we defined the data type string. Then I mentioned that you have to surround your characters with either a double quote or a single quote, right? So in this tutorial, I'm gonna add something else. I'm gonna add another option, which is a triple quote, which appears in two forms. It's either is triple quotes composed of single quotes, or is double quotes, triple double quotes, right, composed of just double quotes. We'll further explain that. I will demonstrate that when we get to the coding side. And we know that a string is a sequence, right? So it's a sequence of characters. It's a sequence. The moment you get to know that it's a sequence, that means that this is composed of elements, right? And the elements of a string is characters in this case. And then we're gonna also discuss a few methods, which is what we're just gonna be discussing just now in the next slide. So basically, this whole tutorial is just based on the methods of strings. But I just wanted to recap on some of the few things we did and some of the things we're gonna be adding. So let's head over to the string methods. So the way we're gonna do this is that we're gonna divide this into two categories. We're gonna have the first category, which is just manipulating a string. So this is a manipulation of a string, and we're just gonna manipulate the case of the string, and that's it. We're not gonna go that much further. That will be in the future tutorials because I don't want to overwhelm you with too much information or get to move too fast. I want us to all be in the same page and work with the same pace, right? So that we get to have enough time to fully learn all these concepts. So in this category, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be converting a string into, and then I'm going to mention the two manipulations we're going to do. So say you're starting off with a string that is composed of only lowercase characters or small alphabets, right? Now you want to convert all of those characters into upper cases, right? We want to convert that into upper cases. So we have a method called uppercase. I know this is not really the method, this is not the syntax, that's why you don't even see anywhere written syntax. This is just what we'll be doing, the action, or it's the action that we'll be doing to the string. That's the manipulation that we're doing to the string, rather should I say. Cool. So it's converting lowercase string into an uppercase string. We're gonna do that just now. And then we're gonna convert so in this scenario now we are saying that now we have an uppercase string. We wanna convert that into a lowercase string, right? So we want all the characters in our uppercase string to be small alphabets, right? Cool. So let's head over to our terminal. No more JDoodle for us, or for me should I say. Cool. So what I want to do first is I want to create a directory called python tutorial 4, I think. Yeah, tutorial 4 mk. Oh, sorry, messed up. It's been quite some time without using a terminal like this. mkdir. Cool. Let's clear that, and then we head over to our directory, right? So as you see, right, so ls is just going to be listing all the files in my directory, right? So if you are a Vim fan, this is how you would normally set up your coding environment. You remember from our JDoodle, we get everything and then we just clear everything and then we just start coding, right? Since the Python script is already being created, so in this case, I'm gonna create a script called, let's call it string.py, since this tutorial is all about strings. And then if I say ls, this is the Python script that I have. And then now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna also, the other thing I love about Vim is that instead of me first creating a file, I can just open a file and give it a name and then save it or not if I want to. So let me just remove this. Cool. And then I'm gonna start it string.py. So this is what I want, this is the file that I want, so it knows automatically, okay, cool, this is a Python it is the Python script, so I will be able to code in Python, accessing all the methods that I can access in Python, right? There we go. And this is my Vim, right? When I start, this is a file, and then it shows you that it's a new file. You will see at the bottom, right? But then now I can't just start texting. Now this is not a texting mode. I have to change the mode. For that, if you are willing to learn Vim, you press I. The moment you press I, you will see it says insert. So now you can start putting in some text there. Cool. Before we've been just coding, right? Upon arriving to our coding environment, in this tutorial, I want to set a different way. So this is gonna be a starting point, our program starting point. So I'm gonna use I discussed just now about triple quotes and single quotes, right? Because we use this for normally describing what a function does. So I'm gonna have that there. So it's triple quote and then another triple quote. So it's triple for opening and then 3 for closing, right? And then we're gonna say that this is where our program starts, right? Cool. You could also just use this and this. So this is the triple codes or the two forms I was talking about: a triple code composed of single codes or a triple code composed of double codes. Right, for now let's just stick with just that one, but it's one and the same thing. So by putting this as it is, this is also known as a comment, and a Python interpreter won't interpret this. It will ignore this, so you can rest assured and relax in terms of the errors you might think you will get, because there won't be those errors. Cool. So what I want to introduce is, we've done the conditional statement, right? So we're going to use a conditional statement to define our starting point of our program. I won't discuss much of what this truly means, but I will just mention one thing. So this is name, and then main. So this is more like our main program, or this is what runs our program, right? So we want to do everything this side. So this is how you do it, and this I will explain. But then one thing that you can be recognizing by this is that this results in a boolean, which is true, right? Cool. So I will discuss this when we get to properly discuss functions, because we're going to have multiple functions and then we call them sequentially. So from this, so this is us having control of the functions, because we can create functions and put them in any order, but the way they get used, that's what determines how the program runs. Cool. Let's discuss this. Okay, let's just also play around with this new concepts we just doing now, right? So we're gonna convert a lower case string into upper case string, right? And then the other category is we're gonna convert upper, is it N or A? I think it's A, because yeah, it's a vowel, it's an N. It's an N. Yeah, I remember vowel. So if it's a vowel, you use an N, right? If it's not a vowel, it's a or whatever. Cool. We're not doing English here, we're doing coding. So convert an uppercase string into a lower case string, right? That's what we have. So let's just properly also do something. So you might see that at least now we're kind of like being a bit more professional in a way in terms of our code, because now we are starting to write clean code that is easy to understand. In terms of someone who even doesn't know what code is, they can come and read through what you have and they can follow through. So that's the main purpose of these doc strings, is to explain your code and explain what each line is doing. So for now I'm just using these triple codes. In normal case, this is what we use for defining a function or explaining what a function does, because it has multiple lines. Shouldn't be that much big of a paragraph. Keep it brief, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. And then we use the hash tag for simple comments. Okay, listen, if statement is what I'm doing, but then you can also use doc strings if you want to fully explain what you're actually doing. Like if it's a nested if and what's happening inside, then you can just use a doc string to explain what's really happening inside that function, right? Cool. So right now what we're gonna do is we're gonna come and say get a user input of string data type. Cool, that's what we're gonna do. So yeah, now we can get started. So this is us having our program set. So yeah, let's get started. So what we're gonna do there is we're gonna get the input, right? So this is string, and then we're gonna get the input, right? And then we can prompt the user enter string in lower case, right? Because we want to convert it to uppercase. Then what we're going to do is we're just going to display that string in uppercase. So let's just use a simple print statement, and then yeah, let's say string, cool, and then we say string, right? Cool. And then if you want to exit the editing mode, you press escape. I almost forgot that I'm also kind of like giving a bit of small hints on how you use Vim. I mean, you don't really have to know much to use Vim. It's just basic stuff. Opening Vim, how to switch modes, and then how do you save. And most importantly, and the one thing that is way too confusing, how do you exit, right? So as you're gonna press shift, and then you're gonna have a colon, right? You will see a colon there, and then you're gonna press W. This is writing. So since we created this file and it was new, we have to write it on our system. I just want to write. If you wanted to write and quit, you will also put Q, but in this case I don't want to quit, I just want to write. So to exit, you use Q. It's colon and then Q. That's exit. You can do multiple things like I want to write and quit and all that. If you wanna quit without saving the file, it's Q and then an exclamation mark. Do go practice that and see how it goes. And yeah, but don't spend much time trying to figure out the whole thing of how Vim works, right? So this is right, and then you will see that this file of mine is written, and you will see that it's 360 bytes. That's how much space is taking from my memory. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a new tab for compilation. So the thing I love about Vim is I get to have my code decide this is my program, right? And then I get to execute my code from the side. And to execute, it's Python 3. Python 3. Then the name of the file. So it says enter the string in lowercase. I know with the previous tool we've been using, when you get in the user input, we first provide the user input before we even run the program. But in reality, this is how the program will run. It will prompt you to provide the input, right? And then I'll be saying that okay, lowercase, hi, hi everyone, and welcome to my YouTube lessons. I know you might have been thinking, I was gonna say hi everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. No, welcome to my YouTube channel, YouTube lessons. I know I wanted to say YouTube channel, but now let's just keep it YouTube lessons, right? Cool. And then I print. So this is my string. I'm printing that string, but then you will notice that we haven't manipulated the string here. So we want to convert these into uppercase letters, or uppercase, let me just say that way, uppercase string, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use a .met. So don't forget to enter into editing mode. Then that's my string there, right? And that is my string. So I'm gonna go to the end of the string, which is J, and then I'm gonna say dot. If you're using VS Code or any other IDE, you will be getting all the methods you have to perform on a string. You could do that. Which brings me to the other thing I love about Vim is that you get to know all the things by yourself. I mean, you can choose to learn the easy way or the hard way, but I always prefer the hard way because the hard way gets to create the best programmer in a way. But then if you do it the easy way, then I mean, it doesn't mean that you're not going to be good, just that you will be relying too much on the IDE than yourself. So it's always better to always rely more on yourself than the IDE. Because for instance, I've been playing around with the LinkedIn assessments, and yeah, they're quite challenging. So there's no time for going to an IDE there to answer the questions. Okay, you can if you want, but then you have to fully understand the concepts so that you answer it as smooth as possible. So you get a minute to answer a question, so you can't be using that minute in going trying to figure out, oh, these are the methods that are available in a string. Nah. Okay, but then again, it is a choice. As for me, I chose to learn the hard way, and when I tested myself with LinkedIn assessments, it really paid off because I passed my assessment for LinkedIn, which is tough. I think I got into top 5%, but then the requirement for LinkedIn is for you to be falling under top 30%, I believe. But yeah, enough with that. We are here on our code, right? That's just something I wanted to advise on, as to whether be mindful of how you learn, because how you learn will determine how good you'll be. Cool. So this is dot, and then all methods will appear. We're just gonna name the method because we know exactly what we wanna do. We wanna convert this to upper, so it's just upper, all in small letters because keywords are in small letters, right? And then open parenthesis and close parenthesis because it's a function. So a function, or it's a method and a function are one and the same thing, though they tend to be used in ways that seem like they are not really the same, but they are the same. Cool. You exit the editing mode, colon, and then W. You're right? And then now your file is 360 bytes, right? Cool. And then we'll talk about bytes later on, because I'm just throwing the words bytes and all that. And thing is, you want to create a program that doesn't overuse resources, right? You find that the program is not supposed to use, or it's using only this much resource, but you get to create one that gets to use even extra resources. We don't want to waste resources, right? We want to create an effective code that uses as less resources as possible. Cool. So we have this, right? And then hi everyone, welcome to cool. I had to repeat that, and then it is, right? So now you see that we provided a string which is of lower cases, right? Before we just printed it as it is, which is that, right? But then now we manipulated that string in such a way that each character was converted to uppercase. Which brings us to the question as to how does this upper method works. So if you remember, when we discussed for loops, we iterated through a string, right? And then after iterating through a string, then we converted. No, we didn't convert. We just printed the characters out, right? In this case, what's happening is I've never really opened the uppercase method, but then from my understanding with the concepts we've learned is that okay, we haven't learned the dictionaries yet, but okay, let me just say that I will explain much on this at a later stage. But what's happening is that we are iterating through, or we are checking each and every character in our string. If it's lowercase, we convert it to uppercase. If it's uppercase, then it's cool, we leave it as it is, right? That's what's happening with this upper method. Now let's also go to the lower method. Cool. So let's head over to lower method. So the first thing we want to do is we want to go to editing mode, obviously. Then we're going to get the input, right? So this is going to be string up, just up, right? And then input. But wait, okay, cool. Let's just do it this way then. So instead of us having that, let me just say name is equals to string dot upper, right? So that way we can reverse back the string. That way it will be easy, because me having to provide the string that is in lower and then a string that is in upper so that we can demonstrate the two casing is just not it at all. Cool. So there we go. We have name, and then we just convert that to uppercase, and then we have it in lowercase. Don't forget to write. That's one other thing that I want you to also keep track of. Don't forget to because if you don't update the changes, right, you will be executing a code that is still, you will be executing the previous file because the new one was not updated. So be mindful of that where you get to be struggling. How? But I did update this file, but why is it that it's still doing the same thing as previously? Is because you didn't update the file. If you're on an IDE, then I'll suggest that you go to settings and make sure you have autosave on, and then you get to be free, and whatever character you type automatically saved. Even if your computer just shuts down after typing A, that character is saved. So when you open that file again, it's gonna be working. Cool. So this is name, and then we just want to test that to see if our stuff is working. I'm not gonna do that other one again. I'm just gonna do as it is, and there we go. It is working, and this is fine, right? That's what gets to be stored in name. So now we want to move from that upper to lowercase. Then we'll do this print. Keep it nice and simple. Let's do this. Convert back to lowercase, right? End line. Cool. And then we'll print, and then we're gonna print what? Name dot lower, right? That's how you convert to lowercase. It's just dot. So you are using a dot method to access the methods associated with the string, right? And then if we run this, and then we have that, there we go. So we have that. This was converted in uppercase, and then we're converting back to lowercase. Wow, I didn't even notice that my CNA just swapped cases, which is the other method that we're going to be doing, by the way. Talk about wrong thing happening at the right time. So you can also swap cases, you can also swap characters as well. You can do a lot of things with these methods, and we're going to be doing more of these in future tutorials as well. Cool. So let's head over to our slides and discuss the last part before the exercise. There we go. Let's head over to that and discuss this part, right? So the other category, remember I mentioned that we're going to divide this into two categories in this tutorial. The other one is manipulating a string, the other one is searching the string. Now this is a part where you search a string and determine what type of a string this is. And then I want to discuss about these three methods, which at first seem like they are independent, but then I want to show you something. I want to show you them in action, and then you will get to understand why these methods and how do they differ. I'm going to leave the investigating part to you as to, are these methods exactly the same? Are they doing exactly the same thing or not? Right? And why do we have multiple of them if we can just have one that does the same thing as the other one, right? We can do that. You discuss that either if you're learning as a pair or as a team, you can discuss as a team. But then if you're here learning solo, you can you can have a conversation with yourself, discussing and trying to check the facts, why this is this, why this is this, why this is this, right? Cool. So you're gonna check if a digit is if a string is a digit, by the way, I meant. So by checking if it's a digit, what does it really mean? I mean, how can you say that a string is a digit? So what you're trying to check is that, can I convert this string into a digit? That's what you're checking. Can I convert this string into a digit. That's what you're checking. And then for decimal is the same thing. You just want to check if you can convert the string into a decimal. Same thing with numeric. You can check if this string is numeric, right? Cool. Those are the three methods which I wanted to show, and let's get over to our coding environment. I'm going to clear this. This is our compiling side, and cool. Enter that. Cool. So let's just create ourselves a nice space. Cool. So this is check if my string is can be converted to a digit or to a number. Let me just put it that way. Don't take my number. So I go Facebook. Cool. And after that, cool. So you're just gonna check for that. I think I'm gonna stop doing the string, but I'm sure you guys have got familiar with this, so that we keep the video short, so that you get enough time to do a bit of contribution yourself. Cool. So check if my string can be converted to a number, right? And then I'm just gonna print this. And then we check the input. Okay, we're gonna have a different input for this one. Input. So let's just call it Z. Let's also define our cool. This is as searching a string. Cool. This is as searching a string. Cool. And then what we want is z dot. Do I say digit? That's one thing that one might be thinking, do I do it that way? No, you don't do it that way. So what you do is you're gonna have a keyword before this, which is digit, right? Which is a function called isDigit. So this function, what it does is that it checks. So it's gonna search through your string and see if all characters in your string are convertible to a digit or not. So if I do this, I'm saving my file right now. We're at 634 bytes, and then we run our program. I have the first one, which is that, and then I'm going to provide the second one, right? So if I say 30, I get true. So meaning that all of my characters, they are convertible to a digit or a number. So if I run this again and then I just provide that, then it's false. Right? Cool. So that's basically what isDigit is and what's not and what's not. I want to give you guys a bit of an exercise before we continue, which is numeric. Oh no. To do is decimal. Use that function and get to see what happens. To do is numeric. Also do that, right? So that's your exercise. For now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain to you the exercise, and you guys are going to do this exercise. I am not going to solve it. This is so that you get to check if you understand or not. I'm just going to describe the exercise, explain a bit, then you guys will take over in terms of solving it. If you don't successfully solve it, let me know, and we shall have a session on that problem as a separate video, not this video. Cool. So this is an exercise, right? So this exercise, it says that write a program that takes in one input of string data type and displays some text based on the following. Cool. If a string is a digit, you display that value. So you're going to display the value and the text is a digit. I hope this is not really that confusing. So you're just displaying the value that you get, and then you say that is a digit or not. So if I provide 50, it's going to display 50 is a digit, right? Else digit value is not a digit, right? So I was supposed to have an open closing bracket there, but it put it at the end, which, well, I don't know why. But then in this case I provide a, right? So it's gonna say a is not a digit. So it's basically the opposite of that. A is not a digit. So don't mind what I have there. It's a typo error which I didn't really notice, but yep, I do hope this makes sense. Do solve the problem and do enjoy, and I shall see you guys in the next tutorial. Well, I guess it will be the episode 5. Cool. So if you're new, do subscribe if you like the content, of course, and if you like the video, do leave a like. Comment as well on the concepts you learned and how well you found this video. That makes it easy for me to get to, when I do future videos, I get to take into consideration the feedback you're providing for my videos. So do that, and we shall see each other next week.